Hello friends, welcome back to my garden. In this video, I'll share exactly what you can plant in November based on how much time you have left until your first frost date. We'll cover fast crops for last minute harvest, classic fall staples, and even some unusual veggies, herbs, flowers, and fruits you may not have heard about. You can view timestamps in the description so you can jump to the part of this video that best applies to you and your garden. Also, if you're new here, my name is Jara and I own a small seed and plant nursery business in Orlando, Florida. Many of the seeds and plants I'll mention today are available on my website. I also offer a seasonal seed subscription service where I handpick what to grow at the right time of year and ship it to you. The next subscription box ships out soon and the deadline to join is December 1st. So if you want to be included, make sure to check out that link in the description. And finally, relax. You don't have to take notes during this video. Just grab my free printable PDF checklist of what to plant in November via the link in the description. All right, let's get started with this November garden guide. If your first frost date is just around the corner, about a month away, you'll want to stick with crops that mature quickly or are hardy enough to survive some frost. For quick harvest greens, try Mizuna, arugula, and tatsoi, all of which can be harvested as baby leaves in just a few weeks. Miner's lettuce and corn salad are fantastic options too. They're not super common, but they're some of the most cold-tolerant greens you can grow. Another fun option, if you only have 1 month left, is to transplant green onions from grocery store scraps. If you buy a bunch of green onions and the white bulb portion still has roots attached, plant those directly in your garden or in a pot. They'll regrow quickly, usually under 30 days, and you can harvest them before your first frost or even a few weeks after, since onions are very cold tolerant. Just remember, this works only if you're transplanting an existing bulb with roots, not starting from seed. You can also squeeze in some quick root crops right now. Radishes are the fastest. Classic options like cherry bell or French breakfast radish are ready in under a month. For something more unique, try a mini purple daikon, which does not have a strong peppery flavor like regular radish. You can also plant Parisian carrots, which are small, round, and mature faster than standard carrots. And don't forget parsnips. They take longer to grow, but they're extremely cold hardy and will keep sweetening in flavor as they continue growing through the winter. You can also plant extra dwarf bok choy, which is ready to harvest when the plants are about 2 inches tall. This takes approximately 30 days from direct sowing the seeds. And let's not forget about herbs. Cilantro actually thrives in cooler weather, and chervil, which is a more delicate, almost anise flavored herb, is another fun one to try in late fall. Now, if you're about 2 months out from your first frost, this is actually where I fall. November is a busy and important planting month. This is the time of year to plant large, bulbing onions. You should be transplanting onion starts, not just starting them from seed. Planting them now lets them size up beautifully through winter so you can harvest in late spring or before summer arrives. I am offering a few different varieties of short day onions that grow best in mild winter climates that grow onions during the late fall and winter. Just check the link in the description for full details. November is also potato planting season in frost-free or mild winter regions. Try something fun like Purple Majesty potatoes or Yukon Gold for a reliable harvest. I highly recommend Southern gardeners choose early maturing potato varieties, those that mature in under 80 days. This is because potatoes attract a lot of soil pests and diseases. So the goal is to grow them and harvest them out very fast. The longer they're in the ground, the more issues it will attract. For this reason, I also recommend you buy official seed potato from a reputable seller that can certify it is disease-free. I don't like to buy potatoes from the grocery store and replant them because they are not certified as disease-free. I'm in Florida. We already deal with the most diseases and pests, so I don't want to risk introducing more into my garden. That's just me though. You can also start some of the more unusual crops right now. Celery, celtis, and celeriac root, if I said that correctly. These can all be direct sown from seed in November, and they'll actually grow best during the coldest part of the year, slowly developing through winter and maturing in spring. Celery loves cool weather and steady moisture. It will grow tender, crisp stalks that taste so much better than store-bought. Celtis is a really fun one, sometimes called stem lettuce. You grow it for its thick, crunchy stems, which are great sauteed or stir-fried. And celeriac or celery root develops a big, knobby root that's perfect for soups, stews, and mashing. All three of these crops thrive in cooler weather, so November is the perfect time to get them started. And don't forget about garlic. November is the start of garlic planting in the southern parts of the United States. I recommend soft neck varieties or elephant garlic for hot climates. However, I have had great success with the hard neck variety called Vietnamese purple, which I believe also goes by the name Deerfield purple. The trick was that I placed my seed garlic in the fridge for almost 3 months before planting to vernalize. It tricks them into thinking they went through a cold winter and now it's springtime, so they should start growing and bulbing up. It is too cold to grow standard bush or pole green beans or cowpeas, but you can direct sow seeds for fava beans since they grow very well during a mild winter. For leafy crops, you can go ahead and direct sow seeds for all sorts of small leafy greens like arugula and tatsoi, and any type of lettuce and spinach. November is now finally cool enough to grow spinach in my area, and peas, all sorts of peas, from sweet shelling peas to snow peas. If you're in a hot, mild winter climate like me, we have a very small window to plant spinach and peas because it gets hot again in just a few months, and they just start to die off when that happens. So get to direct sowing those seeds right now. If you're in a mild winter climate like me where you don't get temperatures below 25 degrees Fahrenheit, you can transplant some bigger crops like kale, collard greens, Napa cabbage, and mustards. I say transplant at this point, not start them from seeds, because they don't like the heat, so this just ensures you harvest a bunch before the heat returns. If your last spring frost date is in January or February, you need to start sowing seeds indoors for your peppers and eggplants. These usually take me 2 to 3 months to get to transplant size from seed, so I will be sowing seeds for them indoors only because it's too cold outside in mid-November. That way they're nice big transplants by the time my last spring frost passes, which is around the second week of February. So just a heads up, it's seed sowing time for next year's peppers and eggplants. And I have YouTube video tutorials on my exact seed sowing method for both of them, which I will link below in the description. Lastly, I want to highlight a few lesser known root crops that are worth trying in your garden. Jerusalem artichokes, also called sunchokes, are part of the sunflower family and even grow wild in some parts of North Florida. Their roots have a mild nutty flavor and can be cooked much like mashed potatoes. Another unique option is yacon, or earth apple, also related to sunflowers, which produces crisp, juicy tubers that are refreshing to eat raw. And then there's salsify, often called oyster plant because its roots have a subtle flavor kind of reminiscent of oysters. All three of these unusual crops can be planted now, so they'll have plenty of time to grow and be harvested before the extreme heat of summer returns. If you're gardening in zones 11 and up, so frost-free areas where the temperatures typically don't drop below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, November is one of the absolute best planting months of the year. As we head into the winter months, disease and pest pressure naturally decreases. This makes it a great time to grow crops that are usually more vulnerable, especially those in the nightshade or cucurbit families. In my experience, these two groups are some of the toughest vegetables to grow during the warmer seasons because they attract so many pests and are prone to disease. In the nightshade family, you should transplant tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants. I would use transplants only though, unless you want to grow some micro-dwarf tomatoes. Then you can start those from seed right now. If you tend to struggle growing these crops, then search for small or dwarf varieties. For example, a cherry tomato is going to be easier to grow than a large beefsteak. The smaller tropical seasoning peppers like ají dulce, also called ají cachuca, grow much easier in a hot climate when compared to a large sweet bell pepper. Or choose smaller eggplant varieties like little fingers or any of the Thai varieties. As far as cucurbits, go crazy direct sowing seeds for pretty much all of them. Just have your pest and disease treatments in stock at home so you're ready to treat if needed. Basically, I only use 2 things: BT or spinosad for caterpillars or worms, and a spray made with 1 cup of 3% hydrogen peroxide per gallon of water to treat for the leaf diseases. You can direct sow both summer and winter types of squash. Summer squash are things like zucchini that have thin edible skin. Winter squash have a hard outer rind, which makes them store for many months, thus making them a great food option to store during the winter. But in hot climates, that's not really our concern. We can grow food year-round. But it is good to grow winter squash because they also tend to be more tough plants, taking on more pest and disease pressure before dying off than when compared to summer squash. My absolute favorite squash is Tromboncino rapicante because it can be harvested while it's in its young, light green stage to be used like a zucchini, or let it mature completely on the vine until it forms a hard tan outer rind, and then it can be used like a butternut squash. As far as melons, go crazy and direct sow them all. I particularly like Asian or hybrid varieties of cucumbers for hot climates like China Jade, 201 cucumber, or Calypso cucumbers. They have a much higher disease and pest resistance. I have grown 201 hybrid cucumbers for almost 2 years now, and they are the absolute first to start producing cucumbers when compared to all of the other varieties that I grow. I had female flowers with a little baby cucumber forming in under 1 month from direct sowing the seed, which is just ridiculous. I do have seeds for that one on my website. My personal favorite honeydew melon to date are Kajari melons. They originate from India, are super productive, and it's easy to know when they're ready for harvest because they turn from dark green to orange and easily just slip off the vine. I recommend small fruiting cultivars of cantaloupe like Minnesota Midget or Sugar Baby for a watermelon because, again, the smaller varieties will produce earlier than the standard sizes, which just ensures you harvest something out before the pests and diseases get to them. This is also the time to plant beans. Try bush beans like Provider or go with something unusual like dragon tongue bush beans or rattlesnake pole beans, which are streaked with purple and look stunning in the garden. Don't forget tropical fruit trees and plants, which love being planted in the fall. This gives them a chance to establish strong root systems before the extreme heat stress of summer arrives. Plant bananas, papayas, mangoes, pineapples, avocados, and moringa. Even ginger and turmeric can be planted right now. And flowers matter too. In frost-free climates, you can direct sow sunflowers, nasturtiums, calendula, borage, and cosmos to keep the pollinators active in your garden year-round. This is also your time to direct sow or transplant all sorts of herbs, from traditional Mediterranean herbs like basil, thyme, and oregano to tropical herbs like papalo, Thai basil, and Cuban oregano. November offers planting opportunities no matter how much time you have left until first frost. Whether you're racing the cold, enjoying a mild winter, or gardening in a frost-free area, there's always something you can grow to keep your garden thriving and productive. Don't forget, you can grab my free printable November planting checklist with the link in the description. And if you want me to guide you season by season, definitely check out my seed subscription service before the December 1st deadline so you don't miss the next delivery. If you found this video helpful, please give me a big thumbs up. That helps out my channel more than you know. Share it with your gardening friends and subscribe so you don't miss any of my gardening tutorials. Thank you so much for watching and happy gardening.